Then question, what can we do? What can we do? I'm very sure you have done so many things to be able to cope with this pandemic and the demands of online teaching. But let me begin by giving you two very important virtues. Two very important virtues. The first virtue that I'd like to let you into is the virtue of optimism, that all of this will end. You have to stay positive. You have to stay optimistic. While all of these things are going on, you always have to look at the silver lining. You always have to look at the blessings that this pandemic is giving all of us, relationships, etc., which I'm going to talk about later on. The next virtue that the next value or virtue that I'd like you to have is positivity. So the first one I said was being optimistic. The second one is being positive. Now, this is very important because your mindset, teachers and parents, will also become the mindset of the little children you're teaching, the students you deal with every day. If you face the class and you're always nakamungot, nakasimangot because they're so challenging, and the students will also pick it up. Now, if you're a parent and you don't look at this, what's happening with a lot of positivity and optimism, your children will also pick it up. And that's how they're going to respond, depending on how you also present to them or you react. Okay, you react to whatever is happening in your surroundings. Therefore, ano na ang scenario now? So the scenario is this. We have remedies, right? We have remedies. Remedies have been given to us to be able to solve the pandemic. And these remedies or solutions have been implemented. And we know this. And we have also been applying them at home and outside our home. Now, what are the remedies to be able to stop, okay, to stop the growth of the virus or the spread of the virus? What do we do? Can I see some points there? What do we do? We look at the screen and look at what I'm showing. We are wearing, correct. We wear masks. Now that's a solution. That's a solution. Another one is, okay, another one is, yes, sanitize, vaccine. What else? We also
social distancing.
Social distancing. I like that. Social distancing. No touching. No touching. You have to. So those are the remedies, okay, that have been implemented. We wear masks. We go social distancing. We wash our hands. We don't touch anyone or anything. In short, be weird. In short, be weird. Because these things were not happening before the pandemic. And we're not used to wearing masks, distancing ourselves from other people, washing our hands all the time, or every time we go out, and when we come to the house, when we go inside the house, we wash our hands. And we're not used to not touching people. We have to touch people. That's the reason why we have skin. We have to touch. And that's one of our five senses, the sense of touch. Now, these are the remedies that were given to us. We wear a mask, we go social distancing, we wash our hands, we don't touch anyone. But you see, dear participants, every remedy we know, okay, will always have side effects. Correct? Di ba when you drink medicine, say, ano kayang side effects ng medicine? But you know it's good for you. We know that this social distancing, wearing masks, etc., are going to be good for us and for the whole nation and for the whole world. But then have we thought of the side effects? This will have side effects. The vaccines, for example, diba, were not welcomed immediately by all of us or by many of us. Why? Because we were fearful of the possibility occurrence of what we call side effects. For example, pag binakunahan ka ng Sinovac, bigla ka magiging Chinese speaking ka. I mean, those jokes like wala namang I was vaccinated with Sinovac and there was no effect. Di ba? So yung mga jokes na sa FB, nasa ganon. But now, okay, I will let you know of the side effects of this. Now, according to one very respected educator, his name is Alvaro de Vicente. He is the headmaster of one school in the US. He said that the side effects, okay, are actually in three categories. The first side effect is what we call blockers. The side effects, okay, blockers. The second side effect, okay, look at the you're being blocked, okay. The next side effects, next side effect of this remedies is actually what we call the destroyers. And the last side effect is what we call the infiltrators. Okay, so we're going to discuss this very briefly. We start with the blockers. Okay, so what do you mean by blockers? The blockers are the side effects that impede or hold back, again, impede or hold back or obstruct our children's development. They affect especially what? The blockers, okay? So all of these solutions, no, the first mask, etc., they actually affect especially, not us adults, huh? Tayong mga adults, not really, we are not really that affected, but the ones who are really affected are the adolescents and the pre-adolescents. Okay, because they are in the stage in their lives when they're growing up, diba? And they need to have experiences. Now, what kind of experiences are they having? Diba? So what are the characteristics of adolescents? Number one, they have to be with other people, right? They love to be with their peers. They love to go outside. They want to move a lot. They want to play sports. They are very daring. They are risk takers. They have to go outside. They want to go camping. They want to go mountain climbing. They want to swim. But then all of a sudden, you cannot go out. When you go out, you wear a mask. You can go out, but then when you go out, you have to distance yourself from other people because you might get the virus or you might spread the virus to them. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay? Now, the number one effect of this is what we call, there's an effect in what we call social interaction. The students, the children, our children, the adolescents, the children, those even in the university, we all need social interaction, but more so the youth. They need social interaction. Why? Because they thrive in an environment where there is social interaction, where they communicate, where they interact with their peers. Now, it is during this stage in their lives when they learn the value of, what do they learn? Trust. They learn how to trust. They learn what friendship is about. They learn how to be confident. But then all of a sudden, nawala. Nawala. Therefore, how can you teach them trust if they do not have interaction with people? They will never experience being trusted, and they will not experience trust, because trust, affection, confidence can only be acquired through human social interaction. Again, through human social interaction. How? While they are playing, while they're doing sports, or while the students are practicing for a play. Diba? So our students, our children learn virtues and values when they are with other people. You cannot learn it alone. You cannot learn it alone. You also have to be with other people. Example, trust and friendship are learned from actually being trusted and being a friend. How can you be a friend virtually? One of the many things that I also experience when I chat with my students online. So I ask them, so who are your friends now? They say, sir, I don't have friends. I don't have friends. But weren't you friends with this before the pandemic? Yes, sir, but we stopped talking. Very sad. No, I felt very sad. No trust. I mean, how do they know who to trust and who not to trust if they have not actually experienced being given the responsibility to be trusted? Otherwise, everything will just be parang theoretical. Okay? Everything is going to be in theory, but no practice. So, number one victim, personal interaction. Personal interaction. Because the students are dependent on physical, personal contact. Again, physical, personal contact. Because of the pandemic, the number one victim is personal interaction. No more face-to-face. No more face-to-face interaction. Now, does that go against our being human beings? Yes. Yes, because man is a social being. Man is a social being. Man cannot survive being alone for a long time. Okay, now what will be affected? If man is alone for a long time, put it in the chat box. What will be the effect? What will be the effect? Put it on the chat box. I'm looking at this screen because I can see some of the faces here. Okay, put it in the chat box. Lynn, okay, put it in the chat box. Okay, start talking to objects. That's true. Okay, depression. I like that. Depression. Yeah, no, it's not that I like depression. I mean, the answer. I like the answer. Depression. Mental health concerns. Eye contact when engaging with others. No eye contact when engaging with others. That's true. So, if he is not, man is a social being, if he cannot survive being alone for a long time, as I mentioned, therefore, what's going to be affected is actually his, what we call, mental state. The mental state will be affected negatively, and his way of doing things and looking at life. That's worrisome. The way he does things and the way he looks at life. The way he's going to grow up. And if this continues on for another 2 or 3 years, oh man, diba? What is going to happen? We will definitely experience a lot of negative effects of this. But then you say, but then God created us to also be adaptable, diba? Man is adaptable. And thank God we are adaptable. So we continue to adjust. We continue to discover. Diba? So that's another silver lining that we can look into. Now, another victim of this is actually relationships. So aside from the personal interaction, another victim of this, the relationships. It will have effects on relationships of the father and the mother, the children and the parents, the teacher and the students, the siblings with each other, the students inside the virtual classroom. And it will also affect the relationship of the person with himself. Okay, so real education is not provided nowadays. Okay, I mean, sad to say, we are providing them education, but not the real education yet, because we adjusted the curriculum based on, that's how much we can do to be able to cope and adapt. And thank God we are able to adapt. Now, so the three main blockers, the three main blockers are the following. Number one, the three main blockers are facial covering, no contact or no touch, and social distancing. Now, these three have negative side effects on us human beings. We should be socializing, but the situation does not permit it. And it has been so for quite a long time now. Let's go to the first one, the facial covering. I'm not going to talk about the negative effect of facial covering with your health, okay? I'm not going to talk to you about, oh, is it bad to breathe through a mask? Because I'm not a doctor. But that is not my topic. My topic is I'm more interested in the developmental effect of using this for a long period of time. I mentioned this yesterday very briefly. Human beings are biologically programmed. We are biologically programmed to read facial cues and facial expressions, right? Okay, now, those who are mothers here, the babies, when your child was still a baby, diba, what does your child look at every time the child wants to check whether I will go or I will not go to this person? Not the hands, not the hair, not the ears, but the face. But the face. So even babies show a much greater attentional preference to facial expressions. Babies beginning at they begin to learn to trust. Again, they begin to learn to trust, love, and fear by looking at faces. Di ba minsan niloloko natin yung mga anak natin na, "Huy! Ujo!" Tapos iiyak na yung bata because nakikita niya na ano ka, na that you are upset, that you are angry. But if you say, "Oh, tama na. Keep cool. Then the child will stop. Not because of the sound that he hears, but because of the facial expression that you're showing the child. Okay? So, face masks, what happens now since we're wearing face masks? We impair our ability to interact socially, to understand and to empathize with one another. When you look at the eyes, they according to research, di ba? So when you look at the eyes, what do you actually see? What do you actually see when you look at the eyes? Hindi muta, ha? Hindi muta. When you look at the eyes, they say that from here up your eyes, if you look at the eyes actually tell you a lot about the negative, sorry, alarm clock, negative emotions, okay, of sadness or fear. But then if you want to get to know whether the person is happy, you have to go to the mouth region, because the mouth actually tells you if a person is happy. Look at me. Okay, di ba? So am I happy? Yes. If I cover this, look at my eyes, I'm not gonna change my facial expression. If I cover my mouth, do I look like I'm happy? You cannot tell. Okay, look at the expression of my face. I'm going to look at my eyes. Look at my eyes. I'm going to feel to make an expression of surprise. But I'm happy. You see, you cover this, you don't actually see whether a person is happy or sad. So what is exposed? Your eyes. Your eyes are exposed. And what do the eyes tell? Fear, sadness. Because even if your eyes are twinkling, it does not mean you're happy. The shape of the mouth tells a lot. Correct? Now, diyan lumalaki yung mga bata. Okay? So, by covering the lower part of the face, what is happening is that we are transferring or sending more negative than positivity. More negativity than positivity. For us, older people, now, may effect ba yan sa atin? Sasabihin siguro ni Mirna, wala namang epekto sa akin, parang alam ko naman na masaya siya. Of course. Now, why? Because we are old. Because we have already gone through longer experiences in life. So what can we do? We can filter it. But the children don't have the same amount of experiences. And therefore, they do not have what we call the filter. So the children have not lived long enough to develop that filter. So subconsciously, it is hard to read. It is very hard to read people if you do not Again, I repeat, no, very hard to read people who do not, if the people do not actually show their entire faces. So the children have not lived long enough. Okay, it will even make the people more difficult to. It will make people more difficult to interact with each other because they do not see the expression on the face. For example, I'm looking at Mirna now. Okay, Mirna, sorry, I'm using you as my example because you're the only person I can see with an open camera, at least for now. I can see you. I can see you. I am reacting based on what I'm seeing that you're showing on your face. Okay. Now I know that you're doing like that. So when you're nodding and you don't look sad to me at least. So that means that maybe Mirna is learning something from my talk. So I can look at facial cues, and then my next move is going to adjust to that. I feel motivated because I can see that Mirna, I think I'm getting through, right? But if you cover this, how will you react if you don't even see the reaction of the person you're talking to? Now, that's the reason why I asked you at the start of this talk, turn your cameras on. Because I want to see you. Because I want to see you. Okay? At least Lynn's camera is on. At least Mirna's camera is on. I don't know with the others. I can see. Kimberly, your camera is on. Thank you. But the rest, no. I don't blame you. No problem if you do not want to. It's just that it's so hard to talk to pictures. It's hard to talk to pictures. Okay? So, next. The next one is after facial covering, we said, and then we said no touching, no contact. So no physical contact. The importance of skin-to-skin connection, it is important. So the purpose of physical touch, like handshake, high five, what else? Tap at the back, important. Okay? What do they show? They show kindness. They show kindness. Sometimes you don't even have to speak, but the moment you shake the hand of a person and that firm handshake will actually say, yes, we made a deal, correct? Sometimes you even end a deal with using a handshake. And then when you shake hands with that person, then you say, okay, we agree. Right? Pag meron tayong problema, okay, did you apologize to him or her? Yes, okay, now shake hands. That means we're united. But we cannot do that anymore. We cannot do that anymore. They say that to be able to show kindness, you have to give the 3 T's: time, talent, and treasure. Correct? Now there's a 4th T. Okay, there's a 4th T. What do you think is the 4th T? So time, treasure, talent. What's the 3rd one? What's the 4th one? Touch. Very good, Teacher Mia. Very good, Teacher Mia. Teacher Mia said it. I mean, typed it down there. The last one is touch. We cannot, if we want to show kindness, we can share our talent. We can share our treasure, our money. We can share our talent, our time. But if you do not know how to touch, then you have not actually given enough kindness, especially the young. So who actually need a lot of kindness? The babies, because that's the first time that they experience being touched by their mother, their father, their siblings. You know who else actually need touch? The old people. Because sometimes they feel like they're alone, so they're not going, they don't want to be, people don't want to touch them. Now, go to your homes. Your children are not touched by their friends. Therefore, at home, dapat maraming touching ang nangyayari. Developmentally appropriate, ha? Okay? So I'll go into that later on. So handshake, mother hugging a child is very important. So everybody craves for touch. We need a healthy touch. Because sabi nila, if you have a healthy touch, it's like you're being fed with food. Okay? So there's also what we call touch starvation. Di ba? Yung mga hindi nahahawakan, di ba? They become very sad. They become very sad people. In fact, to the point of being depressed. Okay, so the third one, social distancing. Social distancing, um, you know what this is. What this is. But you know, we have been doing this. We have been distancing our children pre-pandemic pa. How? If they do something wrong, say, go to your room, right? You go to your room because the family is better off without you for the time being. When they become teenagers, you say if they commit an error or something or something, they disobey you or something, what do you tell them? You're grounded. You're grounded. So this is actually not new. Kaya lang kaya lang ito is at home you can do that, but then outside at least they can mingle with other people. But now at home they're like that, outside they're also like that. Okay? So from April to May of 2020, mental health hotline calls have increased to more than 100%. Okay, now, anong effect nito? Especially if the families are experiencing what we call financial worries. 3 times yung depression na nare-receive ng mga parents at ng mga bata, because kung ano yung communicate ng magulang, yun ang nakukuha ng mga bata. Okay? So the message here is the house is better off without you. That's why you have to distance yourself from us. Now, this is the kind of society that the students see right now. The world is better off without us, so we better stay outside. Ay, nako. If you really want to punish your young child, you tell them go to your room. You tell him to go to his room, di ba? So let's just avoid it now. I think masyado nang maraming nangyaring ganyan. 2 years na na-isolated siya. Okay? So, let's continue. Oops. Let's continue. The next one is what we call the destroyers. Diba? So we had the blockers, and then we have the destroyers. The second category. The destroyers are the effects that attack the children's capacity, your children's capacity to learn to interact with other people. Okay? To learn to interact with other people. The main destroyer is actually, what is the main destroyer? What is the main destroyer? The main destroyer is, sadly, the use of screen. The main destroyer. Now, what used to be, I'll tell you something really funny. In the past, we were telling our children, di ba? Stop using the phone, stop using the laptop. Now we say, go use your laptop because you need it for your education. So what used to be regulated is now encouraged. It's now encouraged by the school and the parents because of the need. There is a need, di ba? Oh, tama naman, there's a need. So therefore, parents, eto na, papasok na tayo dito. Parents, you have a big role to play here. You have a big role to play in here. Why? Because this screen time actually impedes the capacity of the students to interact socially. Yun nga lang, cellphone pre-pandemic, di ba? Removes them from interacting with other people. I remember, I am actually called a very strict tito. I have only one child, but then my siblings have more than 3 or 4 children. When we gather together, I have a big basket. Then I say, okay, put your cell phones here, so that they will learn to communicate and interact with each other. Otherwise, they'll be in one room, they'll be in the same house, but they're actually occupied with their cell phones. So they're there, but they're not there. That's very sad. So now the situation is unique because for the first time we are encouraging the children to use the screens more because of their virtual classes. Okay, so the more we use the screen, the more the effect will be. And then the parents will say, hey, okay, stop that. You exercise, and then the screen time, the screen effect will be removed. That is wrong. The more exercise, I mean, more and more exercises will not repair the effect of overexposure to screen. It does not repair the damage. The only way, the only way for to remove the damage is to minimize the use of screen time. There was a study in the University of in UCLA, okay, that they say that too much screen time will lead to poor ability to read facial cues. Okay, now you already have the mask, and now you're already glued on the screen. So what more? No, I mean the facial cues, because tayo dito, I mean I'm trapped here in this rectangular box. That's what you can see. You don't see my hand movements all the time. That's why it's so challenging to give a talk like this, because I have to change the tone of my voice. I have to make you see that I'm moving. Okay, if I stand up, you'll only see my tummy, and my tummy is not that small. Okay, I mean, as you can see, no, but I can hide it. That's the benefit actually of this screen, so you don't actually see. So that's it. Another one is that if your children are always reading using the digital format over a long period of time, it may reduce the reading comprehension of the children. Okay, it will reduce. Let's continue. So the solution is to minimize the use of gadget. Otherwise, their lives are going to be stressful, they'll develop anxiety, and they're going to be depressed. You know what the saddest thing is? If they're always glued on screen, they're not going to be in touch with reality. They forget that there's a world outside. The trees are green. Sometimes they want to see the trees on screen. There are trees outside. There are animals there. The sun is up and it's so bright. Okay? Now, that's the reason why a lot of plantitos and plantitas are emerged. No? Why? Because they want to get back to nature. But the children don't have that filter again. Diba? I mean, I don't think your 7-year-old will say, I will plant because I want to get in touch with reality. No. No. Okay? So let us continue with the last one, the infiltrators. Infiltrators are actually the verbal and non-verbal communications that the children are hearing about the pandemic. Okay? Ano ba yung infiltrators? Yung parang magnanakaw, that they get inside your house and you do not actually know that they're there, and then they steal something from you and you don't actually know if they are very good robbers or burglars. They will not even make it happen that they will get something from you without you actually realizing it, and you will only realize it when you need it. Like, where is my cell phone? I place it here, but then someone infiltrated your house. And that's what we're actually feeling right now. We do not know, we're not aware, but there are infiltrators that are getting inside our homes right now because of this pandemic. You know, the children now have a hard time distinguishing. This is part of the infiltrators. The way they look at things, the way they see things. Right now, they have a hard time distinguishing between what is danger and what is dangerous and what they're and culpability. So there's a danger outside, right? And then sometimes they blame themselves for it. Most especially if you tell them, okay, wear your mask, because otherwise you'll spread the virus. And then somebody from the family dies, maybe the old person in the family, but he did not wear his mask for one day. He might even feel guilty about it. Probably he got it because I did not wear my mask and then no matter how hard you tell, it's not your fault. Okay, he'll forget about it, but then it's there. And that's an infiltrator. We feel guilty because we could be the transmitters of the virus.